Hey, this is Alex Yoder with Dorman Real Estate Management and Pro Tip Tuesday, which is normally my favorite day of the week, but I have a man cold and I'm a huge baby, so we'll just see how it goes. Now, before I get into this conversation here about insurance, I want to let you know that I am not an expert on insurance. Everything I say you need to run by your insurance agent. I'm just sharing some information that I've learned in doing property management for about 15 years. And I really want to touch on two different topics here, or two different points in this video, to make sure people understand kind of how these things work and the pitfalls that I commonly see. Number one, let's talk about actual cash value. And then two, we'll talk about what's called an HO6 policy. So let's talk about actual cash value first. ACV. If you have let's say you have a $15,000 roofing claim loss and you have to replace your roof because it got hammered by hail, because that happens all the time in Colorado Springs. The insurance company may determine that $2,000 to $3,000 of that total, or whatever it may be, is depreciated value. So it's the depreciated value of the roof that they're not going to pay for. There are many policies that will pay for the ACV and the depreciated value, what's called the recoverable depreciation. But there are also policies that only pay for the ACV and don't pay for the depreciation. So you as a homeowner end up paying for not only your deductible, but also for that depreciation. So my advice would be, now everyone's a little bit different, everyone's financial picture is a little bit different, but my general advice would be to look into your policy, talk to your insurance agent, and make sure that you're covered for not just the ACV, but the full amount of the roofing claim minus your deductible. Speaking of which, on deductibles, many insurance companies on roofs are getting away from flat or fixed deductibles, so $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever it may be, and they're switching over to a percentage of the total claim. I'm personally not a huge fan of those policies because it just is so much more difficult to plan for, and kind of depending on the severity of the loss, you're paying out X dollar amount or X percentage of that total loss. So look into that, make sure that you know what you have on your policy, make sure that you know what your deductible is going to be, and just make sure it kind of fits your financial picture so that you are not caught off guard. And again, look into the ACV thing and make sure that you are, again, in my opinion, covered for the depreciation as well as the actual cash value to replace that roof. Now, let's talk about the HO6 policies for a minute here. Those are policies that are for townhomes and condos. Basically, when you're in a situation where you insure the inside, but the HOA insures the outside, look into what the coverage is for special assessments, because I've seen many townhome owners in 2018 from those 2018 storms that were paying out of pocket because they didn't have appropriate coverage for special assessments. Now, a lot of folks don't understand how HOAs work exactly and how that ends up trickling down to them. So let me just cover that really quickly here. Let's say the townhome community has a $2 million loss because all the roofs have to be replaced. And in many cases, they're not going to have enough money to cover the deductible for their claim for all the buildings. Maybe that's $100,000 or whatever it may be. And they're basically going to do a special assessment to have all the HOA homeowners in the community contribute to paying that deductible. So they may say, hey, guess what, homeowner, you owe us $4,000 because that's your portion of this deductible, so we can get the whole community roof replaced, or roofs replaced. And you want to make sure you have coverage for that. Your HO6 policy should have coverage to pay for those special assessments. Sometimes there's caps on those, so you want to not only know if you have the coverage, but also make sure that you have an appropriate cap. I've seen I've heard about some communities in town, like up in the Broadmoor area, where there's a $20,000 special assessment because it's a smaller community and they're very high-end roofs, and the cap was like 10 grand. So now you have people paying out of pocket 10 grand to make up that difference. So you want to make sure that you have appropriate coverage and that you're talking with your insurance agent to determine that, so that you're positioned when those things do occur. There will be a hailstorm, and probably in the near future in Colorado Springs. So you might as well be prepared and properly insured and ready for that. So long story short, talk to your insurance agent. Don't be caught off guard. Be prepared and be positioned to have success as a landlord. Thank you so much. That is all for today. Pro Tip Tuesday, Alex Yoder, Dorman Real Estate Management. We will see you next week. Goodbye.